Hablas español? Parlez-vous français? 한국어 하십니까? If your answer was oui, or de, and your version is in English, changes are you belong to the word bilingual and multilingual majority. And besides, having an easier time traveling or watching movies without subtitles, knowing two or more languages means that your brain may actually look at work differently than those of your monolingual friends. So, what does it really mean to know a language? Language ability is typically measured in two active parts, speaking and writing, and two passive parts, listening and reading. While a balanced bilingual has near equal abilities across the board in two languages, most bilinguals around the world know and use their languages in varying proportions, and depending on their situation and how they acquire each language, and they can be classified into three typical parts. For example, let's take Gabriela, whose family immigrated to the US from Peru when she is 2 years old. As a complete bilingual, Gabriela develops two linguistic codes simultaneously, with a single set of concepts, learning about English and Spanish as she begins to process the world around her. Her teenage brother, on the other hand, might be a coordinate bilingual while continuing to Spanish at home and with friends. Finally, Gabriel's parents are likely to be subordinate bilinguals who learn a secondary language by filtering in through their primary language. Because all types of bilingual people can become fully proficient in a language regardless of accent or pronunciation, the difference may not be apparent to casual observer, but recent advances in brain imaging technology have given neurolinguists a glimpse into how specific aspects of language learning affect the bilingual brain. It's well known that brain left hemisphere is more dominant and analytical in logical processes, while the right hemisphere is more active in emotional and social ones. Though this is a matter of degree, not an absolute language involves both types of functions, while letterization develops gradually with age has led to the critical period hypothesis. According to this theory, children learn language more easily because the plasticity of their developing brains lets them use both hemispheres in language acquisition, while in most adults, language is letterized to one hemisphere, usually the left. If this is true, learning a language in childhood may give you a more holistic grasp of its social and emotional contexts. Conversely, recent research showed that people who learn a second language in adulthood exhibit less emotional bias and more rational approach when confronting problems in the second language than in their native one. But regardless of when you acquire additional languages, being multilingual gives your brain some remarkable advantages. Some of these are even visible, such as higher density of the gray matter that contains most of your brain's neurons and synapses, and more activity in certain regions when engaging a second. The hidden workout a bilingual brain receives throughout its life can also help delay the onset of diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia by as much as 5 years. The idea of measured cognitive benefits of bilingualism may seem intuitive now, but it would have surprised earlier experts. Before the 1960s, bilingualism was considered a handicap that slowed a child's development by forcing them to spend too much energy distinguishing between languages, and we base it largely on flawed studies. And while a more recent study did show that reaction times and errors increase for bilingual students in cross-language tests, it also showed that the effort and attention needed to switch between languages triggered more activity in and potentially strengthened it and dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. This is the part of the brain that plays a large role in executive function, problem solving, switching between tasks, and focusing while filtering out irrelevant information. So, while bilingualism may not necessarily make you smarter, it does make your brain more healthy, complex, and actively engaged. And even if you didn't have the good fortune of learning a second language as a child, it's never too late to yourself a favor and make the linguistic leap from hello to hola, bonjour, or annyeonghaseyo. Because when it comes to our brains, a little exercise can go a long way.